Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Kat, and today, because it is freezing cold outside, it's officially winter here in Nebraska, I thought I would share with you what we feed our dogs during the winter. So for those of you who don't know, we have 4 small Papillons. They are between ages 15 and 7. You would think I would know this by now. We've had them all their entire lives. They've all been on an almost completely raw diet. And the reason I say almost is because in the winter, with our dogs being older, they struggle to maintain their body weight. And I don't want to be spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on raw food for them. And I also can tell that they do genuinely really enjoy the crunch of kibble. And I use it as treats throughout the year. So it's something that they've kind of always had in their diet. But in the winter, I make it one of their 2 or 3 meals that they get. When I do get kibble for our little ones, I either get sample bags, so they're itty bitty bags. I will show you in this next clip what they look like, and I'll get different brands, different protein varieties, just because I think that it's important to have a variety of proteins. That's just personal preference for me, which is, also a personal preference that I mix kibble and raw in their diet. A lot of people don't like doing that, but my dogs seem to do well on it, so that's what we typically do. So I'll usually start with the sample packs that I have collected from dog shows and whatnot throughout the year. They're almost always grain-free. And then when those are gone, I will get the smallest size bag of kibble that I can find, just so that I can use the food up before it goes bad. Obviously, if you have a bigger dog, you can get a larger bag of food. I typically stick to whatever my dogs can eat within about a month time frame from when I open the bag, just so that the food doesn't go bad. I find that after about 3 to 4 weeks, the food typically starts to go rancid. If I do get a really good deal on a larger bag of kibble, I will put some of it in the freezer because I find that it does stay a lot better in the freezer. But with feeding raw food too, it's also hard to find freezer space. We have a specific chest freezer just for the dog's food. My poor husband always says the dogs eat way better than we do, and I'm going to say that is 100% the truth. Now, about once or twice a week, I will add some green tripe to their food because it is good for their digestive system. I will also add canned pumpkin because, again, it's great for their digestive system. I usually add those things in with their raw food. I just feel like it adds a little something extra for them, a little more bulk to the food. When I feed them their raw food, they are only getting about 1 ounce to 1.5 ounces per meal, and they're usually getting that in the evening. Some other alternatives to adding kibble to an already raw diet would be an air-dried food or a gently cooked food, even some freeze-dried food. One of my favorite brands of freeze-dried is this Boss Dog. We use these as treats. You've probably seen them in previous videos, but we really like them. We also use the Primal brand of freeze-dried food just when we want a little extra crunch or treats, but those are probably 2 of my favorite brands for freeze-dried foods. Typically, I will feed either their morning meal or their evening meal of kibble, and I will show you in a clip exactly what they're getting and explain to you what they're getting and why they're getting it, as far as the supplements that I give along with the kibble. Right now, I am mixing these 2 brands. I do have a whole variety of flavors of them, but this is what they're getting this week. So each dog gets about a 1/4 cup of kibble. Matilda and Morris get a full 1/4 cup. Oliver probably gets half of a 1/4 cup, and Gracie gets slightly more than Oliver. She is already a little more round than she should be. And then I go ahead and add about half a pump of the Native Pet Omega oil. It has wild-caught salmon, pollock oil, wheat germ oil, and biotin. I like that for their coats and joints. And then go in and add this solid gold sea meal. It again is great for their coat, their joints. It's all over my favorite supplement to give. I give it to almost every dog that we have, even our foster dogs. They absolutely love the flavor of it. Nobody has turned their noses up to it yet. After I add their sea meal, I like to get the kefir that I have frozen. I usually buy this at the grocery store in a big container and then just freeze it into molds so it lasts longer. Our dogs get these itty bitty little heart ones, and that is perfect for a probiotic for them. Once I'm done with that, I get my water from the microwave and I add just a little bit to everybody's food. Make sure all of the kibble is submerged, and then I usually let that sit for about 15 minutes before feeding it to them. Now the dogs are outside for a solid 2 minutes while I'm preparing their food. So once I've added the water, I go and let the dogs in, then they go insane for about 15 minutes while I do other things around the house. I come back, mix their food up, and then the real madness of actually feeding them happens. So just enjoy this nonsense that they are. Matilda and Morris get little raised feeders that my dad actually made for them from just scrap wood he had in the garage. And Morris does tend to get a little confused, which is normal for him. But once he figures out his food's there, he's overly thrilled. Next, we have Oliver and Gracie. Oliver usually gets his first, and then Gracie, I usually have to tap her bowl on the floor so she knows that it's there, because she is almost completely blind right now. I do tend to stay in the kitchen with them when they eat their food, just to make sure everybody's eating their own food and Oliver doesn't muscle in on Matilda or Morris. He tends to do that if I leave the room. Right now we are feeding the Tuckers raw food. I will put a link to their website in the description below so you can kind of see what their ingredients are. We really like them. And I can buy them wholesale, so we get a pretty good deal on the food. That's right now what ours have been eating for probably the last, 6 months, probably 8 months. They usually get about an ounce and a half of raw food. I buy the chicken, the turkey, and sometimes the salmon one. I don't always buy that one because I don't like the texture of it. I think it's a little weird. But the turkey and the chicken, our little ones do really well on, and it doesn't have that weird texture. I usually just kind of eyeball what I give them for their food because I've done this, a handful of times. I have a general idea of what they should be getting. Also, once or twice a week, I will add green tripe. I will split this can. There's some charcoal on top of it. Ignore that. I will split this can between the 4 of them over, the course of 2 days. The Tucker's food comes in these sealed packages. I believe these are 8-ounce packages. They might be 6 ounces. Again, I'll link the website in the description so you can have a little more details on that, but that's what ours are currently eating right now. And I just defrost them the night before in a container. And because I think it is very important for you to get the full experience of what we do when we feed dogs, I'm leaving the sound on this. So I'm going to attempt to put down 2 of these. Keep in mind our dogs are partially blind. Well, All right, oldest two have been fed. Oliver has been fed. And Gracie. Grace, there you go. So it's not horrible. Yeah, and Oliver, yes, he's already done eating his food, which is why I stay in the kitchen, because he will go bully the older two into getting their food. Gracie is already done as well, and now she's going to wait for Morris to get done. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. And as always, if you do have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I would be more than happy to answer in the comments, or if it's an extended answer, I'll make a video of it and let you know.